Hi everyone, Tammy here with Happy Rock Crafts. I am going to show you how to make these cute, adorable little gummy worms out of hair curlers, those little foam hair curlers. So what you need is some foam hair curlers. I got these ones at the dollar store, $1.25 for 6, and a size 4mm crochet hook, or whatever hook size you want. It'll just make your project smaller or bigger depending on the hook. And I got some googly eyes, little puppet ones, and you can get these at some dollar stores. Some Walmarts have them. I got mine at Amazon. The bigger ones, which are bigger than these, are available at my local Hobby Lobby. And you'll need a yarn needle and of course some scissors, and I am using 2 colors of yarn. I'm using a size 4, just regular acrylic yarn, and we are going to begin. So to begin, I'm going to take my cherry blossom, and I like to start with an I-cord for my loops. That way I don't have to weave in the ends. So to do an I-cord, I'm going to put my little Google eyes off to the side. I start with a slip knot, so go ahead and make your slip knot however you like to. And then put your hook inside that loop and make your slip knot smaller. And then we're going to make a chain of 6 with an I-cord. That way we don't have to weave in our tail. If you're not comfortable doing an I-cord, you can go ahead and just chain 6 and join with a slip stitch to the first chain to create a circle. So to do an I-cord, we're going to start with our slip knot. We're going to take our tail in and put it over our crochet hook, so you have 2 loops. We're going to yarn over and bring that through both of those loops, and that's 1. And again, we're going to take that tail, bring it over our crochet hook. 2 loops are on our hook. You're going to yarn over and bring it through both of those loops, and that's 2. And again, take that tail, bring it over that hook. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through both of those loops. That is 3. Again, take your tail, bring it over. You have 2 loops, yarn over and go through both of those loops, and that is 4. Again, take that tail, bring it over that hook, yarn over, bring that through both of those loops. That's 5. And let's do one more. Bring your tail over that hook, yarn over and bring it through both of those loops, and that's a 6. And now what we want to do is join with a slip stitch to that first chain that we made, that first little stitch that we did it with the I-cord. So you can see right there's your first stitch. So you're just going to go ahead and join with a slip stitch, just like that, to create a ring. So if you didn't do an I-cord and you just chained 6, you should have joined with a slip stitch to the first chain, and then you'll just have to weave in your tail. So now what we're going to do is chain 2, 1 and 2. That chain 2 is not going to count as a stitch. We're going to skip over that later. And now what we're going to do is take our googly eyes, and with the googly eyes facing you, it doesn't really matter what direction you have them in. We're going to be working around that ring and around our crocheted ring. So we're going to work 8 double crochets around the googly eye ring and the crocheted ring. So yarn over, insert your hook under that ring and in the center of your crocheted ring, and work a double crochet. So make sure you're going underneath both. So this is 1, and let's do that again. We want a total of 8. So yarn over, insert your hook in front of that, underneath that ring, and in the center of that crocheted ring, and do your double crochet. 2, and we're doing 8. So again, make sure you're going in that ring, and you can move your googly eyes if you have to get out of your way if it's easier, and do 8. So this is 3, If you have to slide these over, you can. This is 4. 5. 6. 7 and 8. So you should have a total of 8. There's my little tail. So I'm just going to snip that tail off so it's out of my way real quick. Okay. And I don't have to weave it in because I did the I-cord, so I'm comfortable with that. It's never failed me. So now what we want to do is, you'll see we have our 8 double crochets. We're going to flip our little eyes over, and you're going to flip your double crochets up. So it's like a little bowl, kind of. And we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first double crochet that we did. We're going to skip over this chain 2, and then we're going to join to the top of the first double crochet that you did right here. So you're just going to join with a slip stitch like this. And now what we're going to do is chain 1. And if you look, it's a little skinny face here, and we don't want that. We want it to be a nice big face, a full face like this. See how our face is full there? So we want our little gummy worm to have a nice little full face. So what we're going to do after we chain 1 is we're going to work 8 more double crochets in the same ring and circle that we just worked our double crochets into. So we're working 8 double crochets, but what we're doing is working it over the double crochets that we already worked. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the center and out through the back, and then yarn over, bring that yarn through, and then all the way up to the current height, and then yarn over, bring it through 2, yarn over, bring it through the last 2, and that completes your double crochet. And we're going to do a total of 8. So that was 1. So again, yarn over, go right in the center, yarn over, bring that through and up, and complete your double crochet. And that's 2. And again, this will be number 3 in the center, yarn over, bring that all the way through and up, and that is 4. I have to pull some yarn from the skein there. Five, 6, 7, and 8. And you should have 8. And now what we want to do is make sure we have our 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. And now we're not going to join with a slip stitch. Now what we want to do is, we have these extra ones from the previous row because we worked over. So what we're going to do is, we want to just go ahead and we're going to single crochet 2 of them together. So you should probably have like 2 here. So you're just going to insert your hook and single crochet 2 of them together. So yarn over, insert your hook in the next one, yarn over, bring that up, and then yarn over and go through all 3 loops. And then this is your joining stitch and your chain 1, and this is your first double crochet. So now you're just going to insert your hook into that first double crochet of the round and work a single crochet in there. You're not joining, you're just working a single crochet in there. And now pull up that loop real quick so you can see. So now you should have a total of 9 stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Let's count that again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so off camera, I fixed my mistake. So I only put 7 double crochets instead of 8. So I went and added an extra 8, an extra double crochet, and then I did my decrease. So you guys should be at your decrease. And now we're gonna go ahead and join by single crocheting into that first stitch of the round. So single crochet there, and you should have a total of 9 stitches around, and that's what we want. So now you're going to work continuously in a round. So that means you're not going to join each round, you're just going to work continuously around a single crochet. And if you want, you can use a stitch marker. I find that it's not necessary to use a stitch marker because it's just at the back of his eye, so I know where to go. And depending on the curler that you get, the length of it might be different. Usually I do about 20 rows for the gummy worm. So I'll show you that. So it just depends on the length and how tight your stitching is too. So we'll show you that. And then you can, if you like, you can put your curler into here and crochet around your curler, or you can continue to crochet like I'm doing. I prefer it this way, just by working single crochets. So let's do a few single crochets and then we'll insert the curler. So let's just work some single crochets around. So we're just working single crochets. And you want to make sure you go underneath both loops. When I say I do 20 rows for these size curlers, it's from the single crochet row, so it's not counting these double crochet rows. Oh my goodness, I'm saying the word a lot, so I apologize for that. I don't know where that's coming from. So just work your single crochets, and I just have my finger in there. That just helps me maneuver this around and turn it. And I'm just single crocheting in each of those stitches. I'm making sure to go underneath both loops. And you can change color whenever you want. I usually do it probably like after a few rows, just whenever I feel like it. Sometimes I use the variegated so I don't have to change color. And I've got some red, white, and blue yarn that I'm going to be doing. Some red, white, and blue gummy worms, or just plain worms, I guess, whatever you want to call them. They're cute. They're just so darn cute. Okay, so now I'm going to just go ahead and show you what it looks like if you put the curler in, the foam curler. So I'm just going to pull up my loop because I don't want to lose that stitch. I'm just going to take the curler, and I just love the curlers so much nicer than the pipe cleaner because there's no pokey edges. They're bendable, which is nice. So you just take that and put it in like this, and then you can just work your single crochets around. And it's super easy to work the single crochets around it. It's just kind of awkward because you got this big old curler rod in front of you. Just make sure you go underneath both. So it's just whatever your preference is. It's very easy to put it in after you get the length. So either way is fine, but you can do it that way. I'm going to take it out and just keep going. And everybody changes color differently. So I'm just going to show you how I do that. So I'm going to change to my Stonewash color I have. This is Cherry Blossom that I'm using right now. So I want to change to the Stonewash. So what I do is I take the Stonewash, and I do it so many different ways. This is just one way that I like to do it. So I take the end of the new color and I make sure and do 9 stitches around it, just so I have a full round over it. I single crochet over the new color before I take in the new color. So I'm just going to work my 9 single crochets over the new color. That way I don't have to weave it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is 9. So then I like to just pull that tail, make sure it's nice and snug. I don't want it to be loose in there. And then I'm going to make my next stitch with the pink. So I'm going to go ahead, insert my hook, work my single crochet just like that. And now I have the 2 loops on my hook, so I'm going to drop that pink and pick up my new color and go through that like that. And now I'm with my new color, so I'm just going to go ahead and snip that pink off because I don't need the pink anymore. And now I'm going to single crochet, make sure I do at least 9 stitches over that pink. That way I don't have to worry about weaving it in. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my 9 over that pink. If you want to do more than that, that's fine. It's whatever your preference is. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you go underneath both loops. 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I'll just do one more. Put that behind there. And I'm going to pull up my loop real quick, and then I want to make sure my little ends are nice and snug. I don't want them loose in there, so I'm just going to pull them. Not too tight because we don't want it to pinch up in there. So now I'm just going to snip those ends just to like right here, because I'm just going to shove them in there because they'll be hidden. So there we go. we just have a few more rows to do, or rounds. I can just hide those in there and then continue to work my single crochets. And if you're not working with the curler in the center, you can just bring your curler next to it and see where you're at, or you can just put your curler in there and see if you're coming close to the end, however you want to do that. So let's see where we're at. And this does stretch a little. So here's my curler. Look how easy it is to put in there. And you can even stretch it if you have to. You just push like that. So see, I still have a little ways to go. So just keep single crocheting, and I will see you guys back when I get towards the end. I don't want to bore you by single crocheting on here. So you guys just continue to single crochet around and around until you get to the end of your curler, and I will see you back. Okay, so I am at the end. I did all my single crochets. I'm happy with the length. I just put it next to it, and I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert my little roller. All you have to do is just kind of slide it in there like that. There we go. And I just like to make sure I have it a little bit over, which I do. And now what we're gonna do is, as long as you have like one row over the end, you're just gonna fasten this off. So you wanna make sure you leave a long enough tail because we're gonna weave in the end. No decreasing here, we're just weaving it in. So I just cut my tail, and now you're gonna take your loop and pull it all the way up like that. Take your yarn needle and thread that yarn needle with your tail there. And all I do, and I'll bend this to make it easier for you to see, is I just go and I take my yarn needle and I'm just going to go in and out around the tail. Until I get back to the beginning, and I kind of go over it a little. Like this. A nice thing too about this is when we weave in our ends, you can actually go through the foam roller, which is pretty cool. So it's nice to be able to hide that little end. So I'm just gonna go one more right there. And then I'm just gonna pull that nice and close it up just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take my little tail and weave it in, go through a few. You can tie a knot if you want. I'm not doing that. I'm just happy with being able to go through the foam roller. So I just am gonna go back this way a little. I haven't gone through the foam roller yet. I'm just doing my weaving in into 3 directions. So I go one way, then the other way, and then back. So now I'm gonna go back in this direction. And that to me secures it nice. And now what I'm gonna do is go through my foam roller. So I just insert my hook here, and then I just kind of poke it right in the center of that foam roller, and it comes out the other side. And it just goes in the center there nicely, which is nice. And then I like to take it and I like to do it one more time. Right through the center of that foam roller and out on the other side. And then I just snip it as close as I can. Like that. And then there we go. There's our cute little gummy worm, bookworm, whatever you want to call it. Our little hair curler worm. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks.